Hillary Clinton has been questioned for hours about what she knew about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes in a closed-door committee. The former Secretary of State and First Lady delivered an explosive opening statement calling on them to question President Trump. Let's go live to Washington now. Our correspondent, Kearsley, joins us. She says she knew nothing of his crimes, Jono, and she wanted this to be an open-door session. Why did Republicans block that?
Well, essentially, they have insisted that largely all of these hearings be behind closed doors. It was a very interesting move from the Clintons, who have balked at subpoenas for a long period of time. When they decided that they were going to testify before this committee, they were both adamant, both Hillary and Bill Clinton. They wanted this to be public. Now, it's behind closed doors, but it is being filmed. Today, we heard, or saw at least, the explosive opening statement from Hillary Clinton. She released it herself on social media, and let's bring you some of it because it is very powerful in what she says and where she is directing it. She insisted she'd never been to Epstein's Island, never flown on his plane, wasn't aware of the criminal activities of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, and then turned on America's Commander-in-Chief, insisting he should come forward and take the same sort of deposition and questioning that she has. Let's read you some of this statement now. She said, "You have compelled me to testify, fully aware that I have no knowledge that would assist your investigation, in order to distract attention from President Trump's actions and to cover them up despite legitimate calls for answers. If this committee is serious about learning the truth about Epstein's trafficking crimes, it would not rely on press gaggles to get answers from our current president on his involvement. It would ask him directly under oath about the tens of thousands of times he shows up in the Epstein files. What is being held back, who is being protected, and why the cover-up?" For hours, she sat down at Chesapeake in New York, questioned by both Republicans and Democrats. Outside that deposition hearing after it wrapped up, well, one Democrat had this to say about how it all went down.
You're sitting through an incredibly unserious clown show of a deposition where members of Congress and the Republican Party are more concerned about getting their photo op of Secretary Clinton than actually getting to the truth and holding anyone accountable.
The Republican chair of the committee, James Comer, Laura, has been defending his own actions in the way he conducted the hearing. Let's hear what he had to say. I don't believe we have that grab. Apologies there. But what we did see was an extraordinary move during part of this hearing because there was an image distributed of Hillary Clinton sitting inside this hearing. It was sent by Republican lawmaker Lauren Boebert. Now, the distribution of that image goes against the very rules of the committee's closed-door hearing. So the hearing was paused. Eventually, it got back underway and Hillary Clinton finished her testimony. Now it is over to Bill Clinton, who we know his images appear in the Epstein files. He had a long association with Jeffrey Epstein for years and has long denied any wrongdoing. Likewise, so has President Trump. His relationship was some 15 years or so with Jeffrey Epstein before he says he called that relationship off. I believe we have that James Comer grab now. Let's hear a little bit of what the Republican chair of this committee had to say.
The Democrats voted to subpoena the Clintons. The Democrats voted with the Republicans to hold the Clintons in contempt. So the Democrats have just as many questions for the Clintons as the Republicans. So this isn't a partisan witch hunt.
And Laura, interestingly, here on Capitol Hill today, Senate Democrats have been getting a view of the unredacted version of the Epstein files, and Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader, has been once again ramping up the pressure on the Trump administration to release all of the Epstein files. And once again, like Hillary Clinton and like the Democrats we heard up in New York State today, calling on the president to put himself in the chair of a deposition hearing.
Interesting indeed. Jono, just a quick question, or two quick ones. Is Hillary still being questioned right now? How many hours are we in? And what about Bill?
Well, that's the big question. Bill Clinton's testimony is due to take place tomorrow. That will go for a number of hours, you can imagine. I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not we get a opening statement from Bill Clinton like we did with Hillary today. Democrats emerged once again after hours of questioning Hillary Clinton to say that she was cooperating fully. She's been complying with all of the necessary questions and all of the procedures inside. But certainly I think both sides of politics today are playing a huge amount of theatre around this. Remember too that these hearings had been very much anticipated because the Clintons had been trying to balk at the issue of the subpoenas. They put in the idea of having these live streamed, if you like. They are being filmed, and we did hear from Democrats today. They're saying release the tapes, release the transcripts, but release everything in full. The question now is whether any of that is actually going to happen. Are we going to get a drip feed of some sort of the testimony that took place today and tomorrow, or are we going to get everything that was said?
Very good question, Jono. Can't wait to see. Thanks so much for that. Release it all. We'd like to see it as a journalist, news agencies right around the world.